The Mandela Catalogue is a little goofy and quirky. I too have been trying to be a little goofy and quirky by thinking of how I can add my own unique twist to an analysis of this series. Everybody has seemingly said everything there is to be said about it for the time being, but I'm glad to announce that I've been able to come up with my own conclusions by analyzing something that nobody is really talking about too deeply. Even with all its religious horror, creepy supernatural beings, and dire situations, one thing that really sticks out to me from the Mandela Catalogue is the relationships and how they're depicted throughout. Let's take a look at the first video of this series called Overthrown. In Overthrown, a false angel under the guise of Gabriel comes to Earth to talk to Mary and the shepherds. What I find the most interesting is that both Mary and the shepherds trust the false angel right away, and from here on out, trust is going to be a major motif throughout this video, as I believe it plays a significant role in this series. Right after the false angel brags about deceiving everybody, somebody, most likely a shepherd, talks about how his foolishness led him down this path. Perhaps he feels foolish that he trusted the false angel. In the Think principle, we are taught how to identify and defend ourselves from alternates. A quote that sticks out to me is, "There's not enough room for the two of us." This leads me down two interconnected paths. One is that the number two is the lens of which we see most of the relationships in the Mandela Catalogue. We rarely ever see conversations between more than two people. The other is the question of why only one alternate torments a person at a time. You'd think they'd be more effective by ganging up on someone, but to be honest, this tells me that the relationship between a person and their alternate is an important one. In the Mandela Catalogue Volume 1, we find ourselves listening into the conversation between two lovers, friends, Mark Heathcliff and Cesar Torres. Cesar explains that he has to take his mom to the hospital because she fell unconscious and asks Mark to come to his house and turn on the security cameras. Even though Mark states that he has a, quote, weird feeling about Cesar's house, he completes his requested task anyways because he trusted his friend. But in the end, he couldn't because Cesar had already been tampered with by an alternate. This lets us know that alternates have knowledge of how human relationships work. It all goes back to a line spoken by the false angel. "I know what makes you human." Trust and loyalty makes us human, and so the alternates are manipulating that aspect of people's humanity. We see more of this when we learn that authority figures are not to help anybody facing an alternate, and when Mark recalls that his dad didn't tuck him in or check underneath his bed. Authority figures and parents are supposed to be people that we can trust, but in these two instances, they respectively shatter it. It seems that whenever trust is broken, something bad happens in this series. We further explored this idea in Intruder Alert, where the intruder makes it so that parents can no longer take care of their children. Parents are trusted to keep their children safe, and now once again that trust is forced to be broken. Metaphysical awareness disorder gives us another perspective of how trust functions within this world. MAD is basically caused by the distrust of your own reality and place within it. The information being presented to the victims seemed to make them feel like they no longer belong. With that being said, I wonder if the tape itself is corrupted because letting go of one's religion or core beliefs can sometimes isolate them farther into these types of feelings. It makes me think that the false angel is trying to ruin the relationship people have with themselves. In Exhibition, we see that there's a connection between Noah and the number 2. It's spelled out faintly across the screen when he is shown in black and white. Other than the word 2, I cannot make out anything else. Noah fears the false angel and is implied not to trust him, but the false angel forces him to give his loyalty. We also see that Mark Heathcliff was paranoid for a long time, but I guess he wasn't paranoid enough. Paranoia is a form of mistrust and seems to be a form of protection against these malevolent forces. In the Mandela Catalogue Volume 2, we find two friends, lovers, Adam and Jonah, being called by a woman regarding the haunting of her house by her dead cat. This is the only instant where we see three people having a conversation with each other. Even though Adam was the one to go into the locked room, Jonah is actually the source of broken trust in this relationship. Adam trusted Jonah to be there for him, to be his partner in crime, but Jonah ended up abandoning him at the house due to his fear. After leaving, Jonah is taunted for his actions, and I believe it's because of Jonah's choice that both him and Adam became victims. What's even more heartbreaking is that Adam didn't go mad despite receiving presumably disturbing information, which makes me think that Adam's trust in his place within reality and his trust within Jonah is strong. Jonah, however, didn't trust Adam to be able to survive the encounter. My conclusion is that trust is an essential part of the alternates and intruders' plans. They plan to break it over and over again with as many people as they can. I predict only those who mistrust everybody but themselves will come out on top in this world. Till then, trust and loyalty will be weaponized against humanity in the Mandela Catalogue. I know this video is much shorter than a lot of other analysis videos out there about this series, but I really just wanted to add my 2 cents in. With that being said, I plan to cover more on fiction, analog horror, and ARG series like this in the future. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more content by me, and I'll see you next time.